You've probably heard about ghost towns before. Calico, Bodie. There's a lot of famous ones. But this one has an insane story. I want to give a special shout out to my good friend Mason for even recommending this video idea because I'd never heard of the place before. I mean, I'm talking about a modern utopian society, perfect place to live, to a race war, to the birth of modern healthcare, to fully autonomous drones that are capable of attacking humans and having super high-tech surveillance. But let's go back to the beginning. Most California ghost towns were founded in the 1800s due to the California Gold Rush, but Eagle Mountain was established in 1948 to capitalize on mining iron. This makes Eagle Mountain California's youngest ghost town, which can be reflected from the modern-day look of most of the now abandoned houses. This really gives the whole place that uncanny valley effect, because it's weird to see all these homes with no one living there. But how was a major mine built here in the first place? I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. Well, that would be through the funding of famous industrialist Henry J. Kaiser. His name may sound familiar because he's the same Kaiser from the Kaiser Permanente you know today. And surprisingly, Eagle Mountain actually has something to do with that. You see, mining is probably one of the most dangerous professions in the world. In the US, mining has a significantly higher fatality rate compared to other major industries, and there is also an increased risk of long-term health effects due to prolonged exposure to materials unsafe to breathe in. However, Kaiser was well aware of this and established a prepaid healthcare plan for all the workers where for 5 cents a day they would be fully covered for any injuries and have access to the company hospital. So, essentially, this now abandoned city is responsible for one of the largest healthcare empires today. This mining operation was one of the most successful in the entire country. In 1975, it broke a record for producing iron, producing 350,000 tons. So, that makes it all the much more strange that it closed only 8 years later. The closure of the mine in 1983 was devastating to all the residents who lived there, since the mine was really the only source of income and employment for all 4,000 residents. The same year the mine closed, the city effectively became a ghost town, as the entire community moved to other locations to find work. And while the population size may sound small, this was a bustling city, considering it's located in the middle of nowhere. The city featured a post office, bowling alley, movie theater, high school, baseball field, cafe, and multiple churches. But you might be asking yourself, if the mine was so successful, why did it close? Basically just the change of times. America went from being a major manufacturer worldwide to a buyer of goods in a service economy. The phenomenon can be seen across all different parts of the US, with most of West Virginia serving as a direct comparison from their previous success in mining to the current economical state. Another good example could be Detroit, which was the forerunner of the automotive industry, employing hundreds of thousands of workers, while now being a city associated primarily with poverty and crime. But what was the next step for an abandoned mining city? That's right, you guessed it, turning it into a prison for low-risk inmates. From 1998 to 2003, the city, or former city, operated as a correctional facility. Nothing interesting really happened, besides for, one major event. The 2003 World Series was one of the biggest upsets in MLB history. The Marlins, in just their 11th year as a franchise, managed to beat the superpowered team of the New York Yankees in 6 games. That World Series also led to an argument between inmates over what they should watch and resulted in a 90-minute race riot between 150 inmates where prisoners used kitchen knives, meat cleavers, brooms, dustpans, and other random objects to attack and defend themselves, ultimately resulting in 2 prisoners dying from stab wounds and leaving many other prisoners severely injured. There were other failed projects, like the idea of a mega landfill and hydroelectric plant, but both were waved off due to how it would negatively affect the surrounding environment, specifically of Joshua Tree. On an unrelated note, the 2020 blockbuster movie Tenet filmed a scene here. In 2023, the property was purchased for a generous sum of $22.5 million by a company called Ecology Mountains Holdings, LLC. SF Gate reached out to the previous owners, the company itself, and what many suspect to be a subsidiary of the current buyers, yet all refuse to offer any details as to what the plans for Eagle Mountain are. And there might be some reason for that. I just want to clarify that the next segment of this video is definitely satire. and or definitely just a theory. Now, the address associated with this shell company is for the believed to be subsidiary, which is a company that specializes in the removal and dumping of toxic and hazardous waste. So based on that, the most likely answer to what's going on now at Eagle Mountain is probably the dumping of highly toxic waste and or chemicals, which may explain reports of tight security for the area, including heavily armed guards or foremen who patrol the area 24/7. But there may be another reason as well. From the few urban explorers who have tried to get into the town since the purchase, they have described the guards there as being particularly aggressive. In one instance, someone online told a story about how they and a couple of friends were snooping along the perimeter of Eagle Mountain until they heard the fire of a shotgun ring through the air. Hopefully just as a warning shot, but is this security really there just to ensure there are no liability risks from the toxic waste? Skeptics have posed possibilities of a massive undercover government operation or a possible drug manufacturing facility. Drone industry trade publications and Flying Lion's website confirm that an agreement has been reached to conduct military-grade drone testing in Eagle Mountain. Currently, the drone training is just being used by California police departments, but that doesn't mean other operations or tests aren't occurring from actual military branches. Just some of the interesting and alarming functions they're using the drones to test are identification of armed suspects on rooftops and distinctions between civilians and threats in an urban environment, which is pretty broad in my opinion. Better hope you don't catch the AI after a patchy update. If you made it to this point of the video, I just want to say thank you so much, and I really appreciate the support. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll be uploading a lot more content like this in the future. And remember, they are with us. Be careful out there, guys.